This is the FPL Draft Zone, your fantasy team's best signing of the season.
Hello and welcome to the FPL Draft Zone, a podcast all about draft FPL. I'm Dom Croft. I hope you are well, and I hope that with one game left to play in Gameweek 17, Fulham versus Nottingham Forest does not matter to you at all, and that your victories are already secured. But if they're not, have no fear. Gameweeks 18 and 19 are coming right up, and they're coming up fast, which is why this week's show is looking ahead to both those game weeks. We will be getting ahead and looking at that in just a moment. But first, let's take a look at some of the headlines that took place from Game Week 17 with that one game left to play. And a round of applause to all those draft managers who followed our advice and picked up Keane Lewis Potter for their side. 2 goals, 1 clean sheet, 3 bonus points, and 21 points in Brentford's 2-0 win over Wolverhampton Wanderers. Lewis Potter offers both defensive potential and attacking potential. And if you went there, you have surely had a game week to remember. Keane Lewis Potter, the star of Game Week 17 so far. It could have been so different for Bournemouth defenders, though. Alex Jimenez, Diakite, Adrian Trufer, no matter who you picked, they were set for clean sheets aplenty. And it did not happen. We focused here on Alex Jimenez, who was also set for bonus points, as of course was Adrian Trufer. But then that injury time equaliser from Burnley and from Broja, it was their first shot on target, the first shot Bournemouth faced. And of course, it crushed all our dreams. I actually picked up 2 Bournemouth defenders for one of my draft teams. So that was a disaster. It wasn't a disaster, though, if you own Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who is in the form of his life right now. 2 more goals for him against Crystal Palace. He's got 6 goals in his last 5 games. And across those last 5 games, he's picked up 44 points, which means he's earning, on average, 8.8 points per match, which would set you well on course for victory week in, week out, if you own him. Let's take a look at Game Week 18 and Game Week 19 then. If you're watching us on YouTube, first, please like this video and subscribe to the channel so you never miss an episode. If you're listening to us in podcast form, please make sure you leave us a lovely 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you listen to us on, and make sure you are also subscribed to the show. But if you're watching on YouTube, you can see all the fixtures that take place in Game Weeks 18 and 19. I will run through them rather quickly. It all kicks off on a traditional football day, Boxing Day, but this year there is just one fixture taking place on Boxing Day. That is Manchester United against Newcastle United. All of the other games take place on the 27th and 28th of December, predominantly on the 27th. Forest at home to Manchester City, Arsenal against Brighton, Brentford taking on Bournemouth, Burnley at home to Everton, Liverpool at home to Wolves, West Ham doing battle with Fulham in East London, and Chelsea taking on Aston Villa. Those are your Saturday games. On Sunday, it's Sunderland against Leeds in the battle of the promoted teams, and Crystal Palace against Spurs in a London derby. You then have the 29th of December to rest, to recuperate, and of course, crucially, to sort out those waivers before the action gets back underway on Tuesday, the 30th of December with Game Week 19, which kicks off at 7:30 in the evening with games between Burnley and Newcastle, Chelsea and Bournemouth, Nottingham Forest and Everton, West Ham and Brighton. And then there are a couple of 8:15 games, Arsenal taking on Aston Villa and Manchester United taking on Wolves. Then on Thursday, the 1st of January, New Year's Day, 2026, 4 more games to look forward to. Palace against Fulham, Liverpool against Leeds, Brentford against Spurs, and Sunderland against Manchester City. What does all this mean? Well, it means we have 2 game weeks to focus on. And let's start with those teams who have 2 home games across those 2 game weeks. Those teams are Manchester United, who are at home to Newcastle and Wolves, Nottingham Forest, who are at home to Manchester City and Everton, Arsenal, who have home games against Brighton and Aston Villa, Brentford, who take on Bournemouth and Spurs, Burnley, who have Everton and Newcastle at Turf Moor, Liverpool, who entertain Wolves and Leeds, West Ham, who are at home to Fulham and Brighton, Chelsea, who host Aston Villa and Bournemouth, Sunderland, who are at home to Leeds and Manchester City, and Crystal Palace, who are at Selhurst Park against Spurs and Fulham in 2 London derbies. The teams with the best fixtures, in our humble opinion, across these two game weeks are Liverpool, who have 2 home games against Wolves and Leeds. Manchester City, who actually have 2 away games, but they are flying right now, scoring for fun. And their opposition over these 2 game weeks are Nottingham Forest at the City Ground and Sunderland at the Stadium of Light. And then we've gone for Everton as well, who also go on the road twice. They're at Burnley and Nottingham Forest. Let's start then with the first game of Game Week 18. It's Manchester United against Newcastle. Newcastle have won 5 of their last 6 games with United, including 2 of the last 3 at Old Trafford. Last season, they were 4-1 winners at St James's Park and 2-0 winners at Old Trafford. In terms of our picks from Manchester United, we're going Casemiro in this one. He was suspended for their defeat to Aston Villa in Game Week 17, but in 14 starts this season, he's picked up 7 attacking returns, which nobody would have predicted. 4 goals, 3 assists. He's also picked up 6 defensive contribution returns. He's had 8 returns overall this season, and Casemiro seems to be a man on a mission, a man that Ruben Amorim trusts, and a man that seems to rise to the occasion. So against Newcastle United on Boxing Day, we think Casemiro could be worth a punt if you're in need of a midfield option. As for Newcastle United, Anthony Gordon got 2 assists in their draw with Chelsea at the weekend, racked up 1.23 XGI in that one. And Manchester United have conceded 28 goals, which is the 6th worst in the Premier League. So you would expect the likes of Anthony Gordon and Newcastle's other attackers to be given opportunities in this one. And Gordon is probably the most assured of a start of all Newcastle's wingers. What I will say before we carry on, by the way, these picks that we're picking are across both game weeks. We've tried to use each player for the tie that we think they are best suited to. But I think if you pick one up, hold them for both game weeks because they are decent shouts for both. As for Nottingham Forest and Manchester City, which is the first game on the 27th of December, 2025, it is a game that Nottingham Forest won last season with Callum Hudson-Odoi getting the only goal of the game. But City won at the City Ground the season before, 2023-2024, with Vardiol and Erling Haaland on target. Your Nottingham Forest pick from us, Nico Williams, who rather surprisingly is their 3rd highest point scorer this season behind Anderson and Gibbs-White. He's got 3 returns in his last 5 matches as well, 13 points, 8 points and 7 points. And while City are scoring for fun, and you wouldn't expect Nottingham Forest to keep a clean sheet, Williams is the sort of defender who can do a little bit of damage going forward as well. And he's also more likely to be available on the waivers than the likes of Murillo and Milenkovic, who, of course, are more likely to pick up defensive contribution points. Manchester City assets will be slim, but Tijani Reinders may well be free on a few waivers across the draft FPL universe. He got a goal against West Ham, picked up 8 points in that one. He's actually started 4 of the last 5 matches for Pep Guardiola's side, and across 13 starts this season, he's picked up 5 attacking returns. So a decent shout if you want a bit of midfield action from Manchester City. It's Arsenal taking on Brighton at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal are actually unbeaten in their last 5 games with the Seagulls. They've won 3, they've drawn 2. Those 2 draws were both last season when both games ended 1-1. The game at the Emirates, of course, was the game where Declan Rice was sent off for kicking the ball away in what was quite a controversial red card. Arsenal options like Manchester City options will be hard to come by, but Piero Hincapié continues to start in the heart of Arsenal's defence. He picked up 10 points against Everton. He's picked up 4 defensive contribution returns in a row now, and Arsenal have kept 2 clean sheets in their last 4 matches. There is a lot of talk that Gabriel is nearly back, but even if he returns for this one, the chances of him playing in this one and in Game Week 19, very slim in my opinion, which should see Hincapié start at least one of these games. As for Brighton, a couple of options for you. Jorginho Rutter has a goal and 4 assists this season, and his underlying stats are good. In Game Week 13, 0.48 XGI, 1 assist. Game Week 15, 0.66 XGI, a goal. And then in Game Week 16, 0.21 XGI. Game Week 17, 0.31 XGI. Next up for Brighton, West Ham away. So even if he doesn't return in this one, there's every chance he will when he goes to East London. Another pick for you from Brighton, Jack Hinchelwood, who has started 3 of the last 4 matches. If you're in a larger league, he could be worth considering. He's got a goal and an assist so far this season. Got 5 goals and 3 assists last season from an XGI of 4.24. It's Brentford taking on Bournemouth at the G-Tech. Nearly said the Vitality, but it's actually at the G-Tech. Brentford have never lost to Bournemouth in the Premier League. They've won 5 of their 8 meetings, including the last 4 in a row. And last season's game at Brentford ended 3-2 to the Bees, with Mikael Damsgaard on target and Justin Cliver among the scorers for Bournemouth. Your option from Brentford is hardly surprising. It is Keane Lewis Potter. 2 goals against Wolves from an XGI of 0.76 and 2 tasty home fixtures over these next 2 game weeks. Bournemouth at home and Spurs at home. He offers you both defensive returns potential and attacking returns potential. Double your chances of points. Do not overlook him if you've overlooked him so far. As for Bournemouth, defensively, they are a no-go zone now. I am going to have to ship out my Bournemouth picks and try to find some suitable replacements. But in terms of a midfielder who could be worth looking at, David Brooks started against Burnley, got 0.97 XGI in that one. Only has 1 attacking return this season, but from 7.9 games in terms of the minutes he's played, he's racked up 4.5 XGI. So he really should have had more returns than he's had, and perhaps they are incoming against a side like Brentford. Bournemouth are the 7th highest scorers in the Premier League, so they will pose a threat to that Brentford back line. It's Burnley taking on Everton at Turf Moor. Everton have won 4 of the last 5 matches between these two sides. They have not conceded a goal in the last 3 meetings between these two teams. And the last game at Turf Moor ended 2-0 to Everton, with Amadou Onana, now of Aston Villa, and Michael Keane up against his old club, getting the goals. That was back in the 2023-2024 season. Burnley options, I'm not going to recommend too many, but if you really want to go there, Hjalmar Ekdal continues to impress at the back for Scott Parker's side. Got a 4-point return against Bournemouth, 11 defensive contribution returns in that one. He's hit DEFCON 5 times in 10 starts, and he's averaging 9.98 DEFCON per 90. So he could contribute a few points to your team against a team like Everton, who are, of course, missing so many of their attacking assets. There is a possibility that this might be a game Burnley could keep a clean sheet in. However, Burnley are not exactly free-flowing going forward either. So there's every chance Everton will keep a clean sheet in this one as well. If you were going to bet on a 0-0 draw in Game Week 18, this would probably be the game to bet on. And that means Vitaly Mikalenko could be worth a punt. He's got 4 assists in his last 7 matches, and Everton have a very good run of fixtures coming up. Burnley away in this one, then Forest away before home games against Brentford and Wolves. It's Liverpool taking on Wolves at Anfield. Liverpool have won the last 5 matches against Wolves and won both fixtures last season by 2-1. Wolves' last win against Liverpool came back in February 2023 when João Neves was among the scorers in a 3-0 win for the home side. This is a game where any Liverpool asset is a good Liverpool asset. Wolves are dreadful. Curtis Jones, therefore, becomes a decent pickup. He started the last 3 games for Arne Slot's side. He is the most likely route into that Liverpool midfield. And now, of course, there's no Dominic Szoboszlai, who is suspended, so there's every chance he will play again. Wolves, remember, have conceded more goals than any other side this season. Another option for you from Liverpool, Jeremy Frimpong, back from injury, got an assist against Spurs. We definitely thought about AFCON when we signed him because he can play as a right winger. The words of Arne Slot. Last season, 5 goals and 6 assists in the Bundesliga. Frimpong almost certain to start on that right-hand side for Liverpool against Wolves on the 27th of December. As for Wolves, I can't recommend anyone, but if you're desperate for a striker, and I mean really desperate, Tolu could be worth a shout. Wolves have got 2 points from 17 games. Derby had 6 points at this point in the season when they had the worst ever Premier League season of any club ever. I think Tolu could be involved for Wolves over the course of the season more than Strand Larsen, because I think they might just accept their fate and cut their losses on Strand Larsen. Had some big money offers for him in the summer. I think keeping him seems counterintuitive now. They are not going to survive. He is not going to keep them up. So see what you can get for him. He probably is desperate to leave. And that means Tolu could become their first choice starting striker by the end of January. It's West Ham taking on Fulham in East London. West Ham won this fixture 3-2 last season, with Souček and Paqueta scoring for the home side. Raul Jimenez scored Fulham's goal in a 1-1 draw at Craven Cottage in the reverse fixture, with Danny Ings also on target. We won't see him this time around. As for West Ham options, Lucas Paquetá is worth a punt. 0.19 XGI against Manchester City, 0.16 XGI against Aston Villa. Not great numbers, but great fixtures coming up for the Hammers, and crucial fixtures if they are going to survive this season. Fulham at home, Brighton at home, Wolves away, and Nottingham Forest at home. And remember, Lucas Paquetá is also their penalty taker in chief. As for Fulham, Joachim Andersen continues to rack up those DEFCON returns. 4 DEFCON returns from him in his last 6 matches, 10 over the course of the season. 3 of those most recent 4 DEFCON returns have come away from home. He's also got 1.7 XGI for the season, although no attacking returns yet. Perhaps this is the game where we see him register that attacking return. Chelsea take on Aston Villa in the early evening game on the 27th. They've won 1 of their last 5 home games against Aston Villa. That was a 3-0 win last season. Only 2 of the last 10 matchups between these sides have been won by the home sides. That bodes well for Aston Villa, doesn't it? Enzo Fernandez has, however, scored 3 goals in his last 4 games against Aston Villa, so there's every chance the Argentine could get some attacking returns to those draft managers lucky enough to own him. Chelsea pickup for you could be Moises Caicedo. He got back in the team after suspension against Newcastle, picked up 17 DEFCON, and he's had 6 DEFCON returns in 12 starts. So if people in your league have decided to dump him in the waivers because of that suspension and have left him there, he's likely to pick up defensive contribution returns in a game against a team like Aston Villa. As for Aston Villa, Daniel Marlon in his last 7 appearances for Aston Villa has played 206 minutes. Not that much, right? But in that time, he's racked up 2.48 XGI, and he's got 2 goals, and he's got an assist, which shows you that he can produce from minimal minutes. And actually, outside of Morgan Rogers, Aston Villa options are few and far between on those waivers. So perhaps Marlon could be worth a punt. There is going to be some rotation between him and Ollie Watkins. Maybe we'll see Marlon from the off against Chelsea, who again, defensively of late, have not been that secure. It's Sunderland taking on Leeds at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland have beaten Leeds only once in their last 6 matches, with Leeds unbeaten in their last 3 games. Last season's championship game ended 2 apiece, and Leeds won the game at Ellen Road by 2-1. Neither of those games will have much bearing on this fixture because both teams have changed so much. For Sunderland, Brian Brobby seems to now have won the battle to become their first choice striker. He started the last 2 matches and 3 of the last 4, racked up 0.43 XGI against Brighton, and Leeds are the 4th worst team in the division for goals conceded. So you would expect Sunderland to have a few chances in this one. As for Leeds, you can't look any further afield than Anton Stack. 13 starts for him this season, 8 attacking returns, 3 goals, 5 assists. 5 of those returns have been in the last 6 matches, and he's hit DEFCON 4 times. So Anton Stack is that sort of midfielder that can deliver any which way you like. And against Sunderland, he may well do so. It's Crystal Palace taking on Spurs in the final fixture of Game Week 18. Palace did the double over Spurs last season, winning 1-0 at Selhurst Park and 2-0 in North London. Prior to that, though, Spurs had won the last 5 meetings by an aggregate score of 13-2. Option for you from Palace, who are really struggling on the injury and fitness front right now, is Christantas Uche, a forward. His minutes have been increasing. Jean-Philippe Mateta is struggling. Certainly looks like he's not fully fit. Could be carrying a niggle or 2. Uche scored an amazing goal in the Europa Conference League for Palace last week, and he also got an assist winning the penalty for Palace against Leeds United, so he could get some minutes here. And of course, they are a team that have 2 home fixtures over these 2 game weeks. As for Spurs, Xavi Simons is suspended for this one, and Lucas Bergvall was one of the few players to come out of any credit in that defeat to Liverpool. He started 3 of the last 4 games now, one of those better performers, and perhaps in the absence of Xavi, he will be given more freedom to play in those attacking areas. We then move on to Game Week 19, which, a reminder, is a reverse of Game Week 15. Exactly the same fixtures that we saw not too long ago. Starting with Burnley against Newcastle. Newcastle haven't lost to Burnley in any of their last 9 matches. They've won 7 of those matches, including the last 5 in a row, including their most recent game, a 2-1 win at the start of the month when Bruno Guimaraes was on target. Burnley option for you here, Josh Cullen. He's picked up 6 defensive contribution returns this season and 4 attacking returns. He is their most reliable starter, certainly even now ahead of Jayden Anthony and Zion Fleming, who have both only started once in Burnley's last 3 games. Another option for you from Newcastle, Harvey Barnes, who has not started any of the last 3 for Newcastle United, but has got the 3rd best XGI in the Newcastle squad with 4.63 XGI. He's played 713 minutes this season, which is the equivalent of 8.1 games. And if Newcastle are going to rotate their wingers, this seems like the game they're more likely to do it in. So I'd fancy Harvey Barnes to start in this one. And as we've seen this season, he's more than capable of getting some attacking returns when he gets the chance. It's Chelsea taking on Bournemouth at Stamford Bridge in the second of their 2 home games. They're unbeaten in their last 8 games with Bournemouth, 4 wins, 4 draws. 3 of the last 5 matchups have ended in draws, including a 0-0 draw in that game week 15 game on the 6th of December. Option for you in this one for Chelsea, Alejandro Garnacho. No attacking returns in his last 5 matches, of which he's had 3 starts. But in those 3 starts, 0.42 XGI in game week 17, 0.62 XGI in game week 16, and 0.32 XGI in game week 15. Manchester United fans will say this is what he does. He puts himself in the position and he fails to take the chances. But I am backing Garnacho to take a chance soon. And against leaky Bournemouth, maybe that's the game to back him in. As for Bournemouth, Juna Krupi has scored 5 goals this season. 4 of them have come on the road. Chelsea, their XGC over the last 3 weeks has been abysmal. 2.88 expected goals conceded against Newcastle. 1.34 the week before against Everton. 2.20 the week before that against Leeds. Krupi will get a chance if he's given a chance in that starting 11. It's Nottingham Forest taking on Everton at the City Ground. Everton have won 4 of the last 5 games against Nottingham Forest, including a 3-0 win earlier this month. All 4 of their victories also saw them keep a clean sheet. Forest option for you, if they are going to end that drought in front of goal against the Toffees. Amari Hutchinson, who has started the last 3 matches. We don't know if he'll start against Fulham in game week 17, but in those last 3 matches, 1 assist, 1 defensive contribution return, 16 DEFCON against Spurs, in fact. And he's got 2.7 XGI in 472 minutes this season, which is the equivalent of 5.2 games. 2.7 XGI in 5.2 games. There is a player who can make a difference for your draft team. As for Everton, minimal options outside of their backline, I would say. But Carlos Alcaraz is likely to start again. He started the last 4 matches and he's not done badly, as underlying statistics say. So anyway, game week 14, 0.30 XGI, 15, 0.03, disappointing. But game week 16, 0.33 XGI. And this weekend just gone against Arsenal, 0.19 XGI. So against a team like Nottingham Forest, perhaps he will have more luck in front of goal. It's West Ham taking on Brighton in East London. West Ham have only beaten Brighton once in their last 17 matches. The reverse fixture in game week 15 ended 1 apiece when Jorginho Rutter was on target, along with Jared Bowen. West Ham option for you, Mateus Fernandes, who's picked up 5 defensive contribution returns, including 3 in his last 4 matches. He's also scored 2 goals this season and picked up an assist. And Brighton are ranked 17th for expected goals conceded. So West Ham will get chances in this one, but so will Brighton. And if Brighton are going to keep a clean sheet, maybe Ferdi Kadioglu will reap the dividend. 0.23 XGI against Sunderland going forward. Narrowly missed out on the bonus points in that one. He's got 4 clean sheets in his last 8 starts, and he is an attacking threat. And after West Ham, Brighton have Burnley at home. It's Arsenal taking on Aston Villa at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal have only won 1 of their last 5 games with Aston Villa, losing the last 3, including the last game at Villa Park in the last minute, courtesy of that Emi Buendia goal. This fixture ended 2 apiece last season, with Gabriel Martinelli and Kai Havertz scoring for the Gunners, and Yuri Tielemans and Ollie Watkins scoring for Unai Emery's side. And Martinelli is our pick of choice for the Gunners in this one. Let's see who starts for Arsenal against Crystal Palace in the EFL Cup this week. I suspect it will be Martinelli. I suspect they will rest Trossard for Brighton. If they do, I suspect they will rest Trossard in this one, given his recent injury troubles. Gabriel Martinelli has 3 goals in 8 matches against Aston Villa, and he is likely to stretch that back line on the left-hand side against Matty Cash. As for Aston Villa, Yuri Tielemans is likely to be on set pieces. He is a guaranteed starter. He's got 2 assists this season, and he's also a potential DEFCON contributor, having picked up 11 DEFCON, and 10 DEFCON over the course of the season so far, narrowly missing the threshold. It's Manchester United taking on Wolves at Old Trafford prior to United's 4-1 win in Game Week 15. Wolves had won the previous 2 matches against United. I don't think they're going to do that this time around. The last game at Old Trafford did end 1-0 to the visitors, with Pablo Sarabia getting the only goal of the game. But this is a game where Manchester United should win and should win big. Mason Mount is the most likely route into their attack. He is a set-piece threat now, given the news that Bruno Fernandes could be out. Obviously, he limped off in United's defeat to Aston Villa. He started 4 of the last 5 games. Mason Mount got 2 goals across that time. And the next 2 fixtures after Wolves, Leeds away and Burnley away. So plenty of opportunity for points in those games. As for Wolves, we said it earlier, we'll say it again. Tolu, there is literally no one else. On New Year's Day, Crystal Palace take on Fulham at Selhurst Park in the second of their 2 home games. They've won the last 3 games in a row against the Cottagers, but none of the last 4 games that they've played at Selhurst Park. Emil Smith-Rowe and Harry Wilson got the goals in a 2-0 win in South London last season when Daichi Kamada was sent off for the hosts. He will be missing with injury for this one. Adam Wharton is our pick from Crystal Palace. He's hit DEFCON in the last 6 matches quite a lot. Narrowly missed it in Game Week 12, but did pick up an assist, 11 defensive contributions in that one. In Game Week 13, 13 defensive contributions, hit the threshold, missed it in Game Week 14 with 10 contributions, hit it in Game Week 15 with 14 and got an assist, and he hit it again in 16, and he hit it again in 17 with 16 defensive contributions and 12 defensive contributions respectively. He is a man in form. I expect him to hit the contribution threshold again against Fulham. As for Fulham, Kevin, yes, Kevin, it's Christmas, home alone. You know what I'm saying? But he is an option for you this week because he played on the left against Newcastle in the FL Cup. And given Fulham's lack of attacking options, he is likely to play in this one. And he's likely to play up against 34-year-old Nathaniel Klein, who has played just 690 minutes across the last 2 seasons, which is the equivalent of 7.6 games. So he is surely going to get a start and cause trouble to Nathaniel Klein. It's Liverpool taking on Leeds at Anfield. Leeds won on their last visit to Anfield. That was back in October 2022, a 2-1 victory. It was a 3-3 draw in Game Week 15. Who can forget that one? That was the 3rd game in a row that Mo Salah was benched in, and that led to his post-match outburst to Norwegian TV. Option for you from Liverpool, Alexis McAllister, 5 goals and 6 assists last season. He's got improving underlying numbers. He's racked up 2.2 XGI in 14 starts this season. Not that good, but 1.21 of that XGI has been in his last 5 starts. As for Leeds United, Brendan Aronson could be a route into their midfield. He earned his first start in 5 game weeks against Crystal Palace, but did get an assist. He's got a goal and 5 assists this season. He is having a quietly successful time of it in the heart of that Leeds midfield. And after Liverpool, it is Manchester United at home. As we all know, United do give up opportunities, so could be a hold for a week beyond this one. It's Brentford taking on Spurs at the G-Tech. Spurs have won their last 4 matches against Brentford, including that 2-0 win in North London at the start of the month. Thomas Frank taking on his old side, of course. Brentford have never beaten Spurs at home in the Premier League, losing 1 match and drawing 3. Pick from Brentford, Nathan Collins, who's picked up 4 defensive contribution returns in his last 5 matches, 10 defensive contribution returns across the season in 16 matches. Option for you from Spurs, Richarlison, comfortably their most prolific attacking asset, 7 goals so far this season, including 1 against Brentford in the reverse fixture, 2 assists, all that from an XGI of 4.2. He is overperforming. Spurs are underperforming. It's Sunderland taking on Manchester City at the Stadium of Light in what is the final fixture in Game Week 19. City have won their last 8 matches in a row against Sunderland, including a 3-0 win at the Etihad in Game Week 15. Sunderland's last win over City came 11 matches ago, back in 2013 when they won 1-0. Pick from Sunderland, Daniel Ballard, 7-point return for him against Brighton at the weekend. Also got 0.20 XGI, 7 DEFCON returns for the season, 4 in his last 5 matches. Option for you for Manchester City. Tis the season to be jolly. Tis the season to rotate. Savinho could well get a start in this one. Jeremy Doku is injured until January, of course. 23 minutes he got against West Ham, racked up 0.32 XGI. Game Week 18 and 19 top picks then. Jeremy Frimpong for Liverpool. No Salah, no Szoboszlai. Wolves at home, Leeds at home. Last 2 seasons, 14 goals, 15 assists. Frimpong will start on the right-hand side for Liverpool. I don't doubt it. For Manchester City, Tijani Reinders started 3 of the last 4, 2 goals across that time. City have scored at least 3 goals in each of their last 5 game weeks and 7 of the last 8 game weeks. They are scoring for fun. Reinders could reap the benefits. And Lucas Paquetá, who has the highest XGI of all West Ham players, he's on penalties, and their fixtures coming up: Fulham at home, Brighton at home, Wolves away, and Nottingham Forest at home. As for trade options for you, Jean-Philippe Mateta is having a bad moment. He's only finished 1 of Palace's last 6 matches, only scored 1 goal in that time, seems to be carrying an injury. There's no Ismail Assar to help him out. Could get some value for him if it's worth it. Eberici Eze is still on our trades out list. Major rotation risk. Did not play against Everton. Yes, he got a hat-trick against Spurs, but no returns since then in his last 5 matches. No minutes equals no points. No point holding. Ollie Watkins, another trade out option for you. No sign of improvement from Watkins. 0.0 XG against West Ham in game week 16. 0.15 XG against Manchester United this weekend just gone. And a threat in Daniel Marlin. Talk that Watkins is also carrying an injury. One man who is certainly carrying an injury is Alexander Isak. We don't know the status of that injury, but rumours of a 10-week layoff due to a high ankle sprain, which would mean a March return. If you can ship him out before that news breaks, it could be worth doing. So, your homework and your to-do list ahead of game weeks 18 and 19. First up, keep an eye on that EFL Cup fixture between Crystal Palace and Arsenal. Look for injuries, look for rotation, look for signs of who will start their game against Brighton in game week 18. If Trossard starts against Palace, he will not start against Brighton. If Martinelli starts against Palace, Trossard will start against Brighton. Use that information to make your choices on the waivers. Of course, keep an eye out for those pre-waiver deadline press conferences ahead of 18 and 19 and the post-waiver deadline press conferences as well to aid you in your hunt in free agency. Don't forget as well to follow us on our socials. We are on X and Instagram at FPL Draft Zone. We're also on Blue Sky, fpldraftzone.bsky.social. If you're watching us on YouTube, please leave us a like of this video and subscribe to the channel so you never miss an episode. And if you're listening to us on a podcast platform of your choosing, please leave us a 5-star review and ensure that you are also subscribed so you never miss an episode. Ahead of Christmas, Merry Christmas. Ahead of Game Week 18 and Game Week 19, I wish you nothing but good luck. And until next time, it is bye for now.